Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Bo Talks Games, doing a quick kind of breaking news story video right now. I wasn't planning on posting today. However, something just popped up and is being spread around that really has me scratching my head regarding Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Someone is claiming that there is a Metroid Prime 4 Beyond ad in London that says out now on the poster. So today we're talking about this poster, whether or not it's even real, and if it is real, well, what does that mean? Was the game supposed to come out in June and got delayed? Is it being shadow dropped in the very near future? I think that's highly improbable, right? But it's so weird because from what I can tell, it does look real. So I wanted to talk about that today. Of course, if you are new here and you enjoy Nintendo Switch 2 news and content coverage, I would appreciate you liking the video and subscribing. Let's get into it. Okay, welcome back to the channel. So this just popped up on r/Nintendo like an hour ago. It is possible that very soon after this video goes up, it might be debunked as fake, but let's talk about it. So Orchestar on r/Nintendo posted a Metroid Prime 4 ad in London Underground, says, quote, out now. Any idea why Metroid Prime 4 Beyond ad in the London Underground says out now? I'm genuinely confused. Do they mean the Switch 2 is out? I wish the game was truly out though. And it's apparently in Oxford Circus. And then they have a multiple angles. They took multiple photos of it. If freaking Grogu will get out of my face here. And this is what popped up in London. This is a huge banner ad for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. And as you can see, it clearly says that the game is out now. Now, to their point, they're saying, do they mean the Switch 2 is out? I don't really think there's any way you can look at this ad and say, oh, they're talking about the console. This is clearly an ad for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Nintendo Switch 2 edition, that's worth noting, that says out now. And naturally, you look at this, you're going to be very skeptical that it's even real, especially with how AI is now. You can very easily fake this, and I do think that there is still, even now, a distinct possibility of it being fake. However, if this one image isn't convincing enough to you, they actually took other photos next to like a game chat ad here, as well as here, so this could still be faked. You can see the Bonanza ad down there, the Mario Party Jamboree game chat, and then Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is just in the middle, and it says out now. So this supposedly popped up in London. We will see if other people go here and verify it and make sure it's actually real and not some sort of edits. But what does this mean? If this is real, let's work under the assumption that this is real. This person's not faking this image. What does that mean for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond? Because clearly something has gone horribly wrong here, because I don't know if you noticed, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is not currently available to buy and play. You cannot buy this game. It's not out. We don't even have a release date for it. The last time we saw it was on April 2nd when they showed off and announced the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Before that, it was the March 27th Direct where they showed off all like the psychic ability she has. So what does this mean? Well, I think there are several possibilities here for, once again, assuming this is real, why this happened. I think if it's real, the most likely scenario is that the game was supposed to be out now, which is funny because leading up to launch, myself and so many other Nintendo YouTubers had been talking about how Metroid Prime 4 could make sense as the launch title for the Nintendo Switch 2. So is it possible that up until like March, they were still deciding when this thing is going to release. They were already getting marketing materials ready, but at that point, they thought it was going to be a launch title or a, June release alongside the Nintendo Switch 2, and these marketing materials were just made, and then they got sent out somehow, and they got put up, but they weren't supposed to be. They were delayed because the game, at a last-moment decision, they decided would not be releasing alongside the Switch 2. Was Metroid Prime 4 actually a launch title, and they delayed it? I don't know. I mean, that'd be a crazy quick decision right up to the last seconds, to the point where they're making marketing materials and then they push that to later in the year, but then the marketing materials still come out. I mean, April 2nd, okay, let's say the game was up until the March 27th Direct meant to be a launch title for the console, or once again, like near launch, like, June 19th, maybe even. It's a Thursday. Nintendo releases games on Thursday. I don't think that's a coincidence either that this popped up on a Thursday when they released their games. Let's say the game was supposed to come out in June, and on March 29th, they decided to delay it. Would they already have those marketing materials ready and then also send them out still? That's a 2-month window. That's a almost 3-month window where they could have avoided that entirely and had them destroyed, right? However, and not to repeat all of the talking points I was making back in January, I still think that even with how well the Switch 2 is doing and how well Mario Kart World is doing, I still think that a Metroid Prime 4 positioned as a launch title or near launch title made a lot of sense just to help Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Of course, Mario Kart World is a bigger game and it was going to sell better than Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, no doubt about it, no duh. However, Metroid Prime 4 would have heavily benefited from being a launch title for the console or a very near launch title. And that still might apply even if it releases in August, September, October, whenever. It's still going to benefit from being a year one title. However, the hype of a new console and having a Metroid game there, I think would have helped it a lot more than if it just releases in October. But I mean, of course, we don't know how this game is going to do, but maybe it was the plan. Maybe the plan really was to have Prime 4 Beyond be out by now. I was also thinking about this, and I think this might add further fuel to the fire of it originally being intended as a June title. So if you've noticed, the Nintendo Switch 1 is dead. There's no games releasing for it right now, despite the fact that Nintendo continues to pledge support for it. We obviously have a decent roadmap with the likes of Prime 4 and Pokemon, and next year we have Tomodachi Life and Rhythm Heaven. However, so far this year on Switch 1, we have only had Donkey Kong Country Returns HD in January, and Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition in March. If they were kind of going for an every other month or every 2 months cadence with Switch 1 releases, well, we're kind of due for one, right? Switch 1 owners are left high and dry right now with nothing to play, aside from like Fantasy Life, which is multi-platform, but of course it's doing well on Nintendo Switch. That cadence would have made a lot more sense if Prime 4 was also meant to be released in June, right? You have DK in January, you have Xenoblade in March, and then in June, you have Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Because right now, the next Switch 1 game that we have dated from first party is Pokemon Legends ZA, and that's not until the middle of October. So let's say we had Metroid in June for Switch 1 and Switch 2, of course. Then in like August or September, you get Yoshi's Woolly World, which we kind of know is coming based on the April 2nd US Direct where they showed that new graphic. And then you had Pokemon in October. That would have been a fine, like, every other month, every 2 months cadence to the first-party lineup on Switch 1, which, once again, the Switch is still very active. We've kind of all moved on. We all bought our Switch 2s and we're playing Switch 2, but there is still a player base there, a very active player base on Switch 1 that should still have games releasing for it. And once again, we know these games are coming. It's just the timing of when they're all coming out feels wrong. Going from March all the way to potentially Pokemon, maybe a little bit earlier if Metroid Prime 4 is like September or something, but all the way from March from Xenoblade to the fall with no first-party games, when you still have like 5 games releasing, that's very weird. That is very unbalanced, very strange, and I don't know. I think it is possible, if this is real, once again, that it actually was planned for June, and they pushed it, and that's why the Switch 1 lineup is currently very wonky. There's also the possibility, just to discuss it, because we might as well, is it possible that the game's being shadow dropped? I mean, no. Right? Like, no. I guess Metroid Prime kind of has a history of being shadow dropped now because of Prime Remastered, but Prime 4, way bigger deal. Let's say there's a direct next week and this marketing material was supposed to go out next week and they shadow drop it. Is that possible? I guess there's like a 0.01% chance. It just doesn't feel right to me, though, to even humor that idea. Maybe we'll find out soon, though. I mean, I still think, even if we don't get a general direct in the very near future, which I still, there haven't really been any rumors, but I still feel like we kind of need one. If we don't get that, we do need updates on these games on Nintendo Today. I'm still thinking that Prime 4 will release in September, because October we have Pokemon. I'm still thinking we'll get some sort of Mario Switch 2 edition or new release there for Mario's 40th anniversary. You want to have that big Mario game during the holiday. So I still think we're like 3-4 months away from the release of Prime 4, and yet here we are with these marketing materials coming out. And I mean, I don't really know what to make of it, because if it was delayed, would there really be these marketing materials, right? Like, would this have gotten sent out to begin with? I don't think there's anything new here. I mean, it just says support for mouse controls, support for up to 4K resolution when playing in TV mode, support for frame rate up to 120 hertz or FPS, and HDR supports. Out now. This is in London. Hopefully more people go here and verify that it is real, other than just this one poster on Reddit. But this is crazy. If this is real, this is crazy. Like, I actually cannot believe that this would happen in such a way. Very interesting for the implications of Nintendo potentially delaying this game from near launch of the Switch 2, what that means for Switch 1, and why there is such a big gap in releases. I would love to hear what you think in the comments down below. Do you think something went horribly wrong here, and Nintendo meant for this game to be released earlier than they delayed it, and then these marketing materials got out? Do you think it's being shadow dropped against all odds, despite the scale and hype for this title? Do you think it's fake? It's still worth noting, it very much could be fake. This could be fake. We've only seen this one user over on Reddit really posting it, but they have, I mean, I don't know, they posted a lot of different angles of it. That certainly doesn't mean anything, really. You could fake 3 different angles of this, but it does help the validity of it a little bit, I would say. I don't know. This is weird. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think this is something, or do you think it's just nothing? Once again, this might be debunked by the time you're even really seeing this video. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Of course, subscribe here for more Nintendo Switch 2 news and discussion. I wanted to hop on here. I'm about to go see 28 days later, or 28 years later, sorry. So I had to kind of get this one up here real quick. But this is crazy. This is such a weird way for something potentially to leak. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy. I'm rambling at this point. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe here for more Nintendo content, coverage, all that fun stuff. Follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames. Posted 2 videos over on It's Amiibo today, one of which being my Nintendo Switch 2 console review. That's up right now if you want to watch that, as well as a report from the games business regarding Switch 2 third-party sales being down versus publisher expectations. That might be going up a little bit after this one. We'll see how it all plays out, but 2 videos over on It's Amiibo today. Lots of other videos throughout the week. Definitely subscribe to that channel for more Nintendo Switch 2 coverage. Until next time, folks, peace.